What's up, YouTube? What's up, everyone? I'm Chuck. This is Extreme Gains. This is where we check out algorithms, we bust them down, we find them, we exploit them, and we use them to our advantage. I want to talk about AMC. Oh, first off, let me start with this. I hope you all had a good weekend. I hope you got rest and ate food and spent time with family, football, whatever it is that you did, watch the fights. I had worked tirelessly over the weekend to get this Discord up and running and to launch it and be live by tomorrow morning. I posted the link yesterday. I was still working on it today. I went ahead and put it out yesterday, but it is 100% completed, done, up, live, ready to go. I will attempt to attach the link to the Discord in the description of the video for you. And I am super excited about that. We have a few members already in there. And we're going to get started first thing in there tomorrow. I mean, I already got started in there. I was posting in there all day, to be honest, on these findings. So the Discord members have had this pretty much since this morning. But if you're interested, come by, check it out. There is a free version in there, but you won't have access to the algorithms or to the daily scalp option call outs or anything like that. It's just a free chat room area for you to hang out and talk with each other. But by all means, I know money can be tight or whatever the situation is. So I wanted to create a place, especially for my followers and the ones that are supporting me with interacting with the videos, liking, subscribing to both this and Twitter and everything else. So that's there. So come join, come check it out, and I look forward to seeing you guys in there as well, where we were going to really get down to business. But anyways, I want to talk about AMC. I want to give you guys an update on that and on this algorithm. And I know for the ones that watched the video last week, I'm sure you're looking at this right now and you already know what's going on. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat or something. So I went back through and looked at 2020 on a smaller time frame, and I was having trouble locating what it was that I wanted to locate. So I do what I do, and I go through the different time frames and I look, and this is what I found. This is the weekly, zoomed out weekly chart. This is from the IPO in 2014 until January 2021 of this year, the run-up. And like I was saying, those of you that watched the AMC Algo Exposed video, and a lot of you did, by the way, thank you very much. Thank you for all the interaction. It's wow, you guys are blowing me away with the support, so I appreciate it big time. But this is the same thing, isn't it? It's the same exact fractal shapes, the same exact pattern of those shapes, the same exact mid macro fractal that's housing the micro, and go figure, the mega macro, if you will, is the same as well, with the megaphone structure housing all of it. I started looking at whether or not this could be a comparable, and on what time frame can I compare this with. And I looked at volume, essentially like a volume analysis, right? So what happens is during this time frame, if you go back and look at volume, it's nowhere near where we've been since January. Excuse me. So essentially, the weekly is matching up with the daily as far as volume analysis goes and volume comparison. So that's what I've done. If you're going to look at it as far as time, speed, or the movements of the entire macrofractal and the interior microfractals, it's got to match up with time frame. And the only way it can match up with time frame is to match up with volume. I know that probably doesn't make much sense, but the volume that's trading in a weekly candle here is essentially what we trade in a daily candle where we're at and where we've been since January. So that's why I was having a hard time finding it on the daily to daily. So with that said, again, this is the weekly. We got a descending wedge. This is from the beginning. This is what, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 7 years of trading. Descending wedge, quadruple top, 4 top touch point. Descending wedge, quadruple. Descending wedge, quadruple. Descending wedge, breakout. Same wedge to quadruple ratio as the other fractals. There's 4 descending wedges. There's 3 top touch points. And then we got a breakout of the macro, or what I'm calling the mid macro descending wedge, only because we got this megaphone out here. So then we also know now, and now I was blown away when I saw this. I thought, holy shit. So now we know that the same schematic, if you will, is located within this, what now appears to be or always did appear to be a pennant after the January run up. So then what I did was, and this is why I like TradingView, because you can zoom the whole way out. And what you end up seeing is, and what it looks like to me is this. The algo's been running since IPO. Descending wedge with our 4 to 3 inside. Breakout is initiated here, right? Breakout's initiated January 2021. However, I believe from here to where we're at is well, from here to June 1st, like June 1st when we got our all-time high. I believe that is one giant macro fractal, or cycle, I guess I should say. One giant cycle. We got the big descending wedge, the 4 to 3, a breakout, there's a pennant consolidation, so you got leg 1, pennant consolidation, with this inside the pennant, the 4 to 3 descending wedge to quadruple top, inside this small consolidating pennant. Then you got leg 2, and then you have repeat. So I believe this is where it starts over. It only makes sense that that's how this is, right? So what I did here is I looked at 2 different scenarios. You can see on this one how we have the giant megaphone structure with the big giant macro descending wedge in it. The breakout point, there's a term called confluence of support. Confluence of support is when 2 or more support lines meet up and intersect at a certain area, causing essentially, and I'm not going to say always, but theoretically, an impenetrable floor that provides takeoff. So literally the definition of a launch pad. And I want to show you this. Excuse me. This actually is up here. Right there. This is called confluence of support. You have the mega macro megaphone that's housing the entire movement and the entire algorithm on the largest scale. Then you have the descending wedge in yellow, which is housing all of the microfractals. Then you have your microfractals of the descending wedges and four touch point top, or the quadruple top. They all three support of these fractal structures all intersect literally directly right here and form this launch pad. And as soon as it touched it, and I mean that, look, as soon as it touched it, gone. I mean, gone. As soon, like it didn't even, you know what I mean? It came down, it touched, it actually looked like it was fake out, breakout, and then wham, gone. No secondary bottom like this, you know, trying to make a W or a double bottom, nothing. It touched it right here where they intersect, and it took off. So, when I zoomed out, and I apologize for the length of this video, it's going to be a little longer, but this is, I'm finding this stuff, and it's very hard to explain this stuff. I sat here trying to process all this today just to be able to explain it. So when you look at this, here's your megaphone structure, right? Well, from this point, we stopped going sideways and started going north and south. Our east and west movement stopped at the confluence of support, or the launch pad, right? So what we looked at last week when I posted the AMC video was we looked at this megaphone, right, that houses the movements for this entire year, from this January run up from the confluence launch pad. That's what I'm going to call it, the confluence launch pad. That makes sense. Confluence launch pad. Once we shot up from there, this megaphone structure has housed all of this, and this is what we talked about last week. We also know, like I said, inside here is the same interior fractal pattern, fractal shapes, fractal patterns that make up this fractal shape. Then what happened was, we didn't make another descending wedge. We made a mini pennant, and as soon as that, well, I mean, it double bottomed here, but it hit the support line, as you can see. We got our next leg up of the breakout from this long drawn out macro descending wedge. So now we're inside the smaller megaphone, but still a macro. We're going to consider it a macro, not as big as that other one, but because this megaphone is actually inside of the other one. But hold on, you're going to see this. So now we shoot up here, and what happens? We start all over again. We start making this giant pennant again, except this time it's smaller, right, than that big one. However, from a volume comparison analysis standpoint, they're the same. This one is more exaggerated or dramatic, right? This one took 7 years to form. This one has the same ish volume, and it's taking it 6 months to form. And it's way more violent, way more dramatic. It also has the same structures, or the same fractal shapes inside, and the same fractal patterns playing out inside. We have 4 descending wedges, and we have our 3 quadruple tops. Well, then guess what happens when we get to the end of this? Where do you think we're going to break out? Because look what's about to happen here again. We're about to have a confluence of support launch pad again. The exact same as we did here. Which led me to believe, holy crap, the algo, I just moved that, sorry. The algo is start, like the macro algo is start, finish. So it's start, descending wedge, 4:3 ratio inside of the micro descending wedges and quadruple tops, initial breakout, small pennant consolidation with, again, the 4 and 3 inside of it, leg number 2, end and beginning. So now we're doing the same thing again, and we're literally about to have this. So this was scenario number 1, okay? If the algorithm, now this isn't a perfect world, this is if the algorithm just stays running as it is. This is no outside influence whatsoever other than the way things have been this entire time, right? And I mean the entire time. If it does not change, if nothing happens out of the ordinary that hasn't happened yet in this trade since I've been in it in late January, this would be the exact equal part movement or movements that we got out of this after this long one, right? Same kind of volume analysis, same kind of movement, right? We got compressed time. Here we got long drawn out movement. Here we have compressed time, compressed movement. So I don't know what's going on, this stupid ass Weevil. I'm just gonna close it. Dumbass Weevil charts. Anyways, so here's what if that happens. All right, I'm not saying this is MOAS or this is I'm just saying in a perfect world that what they've been doing algorithm wise and whatever's contributing to that throughout this entire time that I've been in the trade, this would be the exact next leg movement of it, next 2 legs, and this would complete this fractal and this cycle of those fractals. So scenario number 1, we hit the confluence launch pad, confluence of support launch pad, right? That's going to put us around the $23 area. And if it lands where, in theory, where it did in the previous descending wedge, where the confluence of support was, launch pad was, and I placed this in the same area, I'm going to zoom in real tight so you guys can see it. There you go. If that were to play out January 10th, we should start seeing unfortunately in the short term, it looks like we're going to get downside some more. If this plays out. And then again, I'm going to keep saying that because I know how some people are. If this plays out exact and the algorithm stays doing exactly this, and I believe this would prove more than, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt that, like, you know what I'm getting at. Like, it would just be mind-blowing. I'm expecting it to be something other than this, but I wanted to present this. So, January 10th, start to move up, break, and here's our literally our movement. I measured these out. These are actually strategically placed on here to show you guys this. We would start our move up. We would break out of the pennant. See, I'm still calling it that. We would break out of the descending wedge January 31st, February 1st. We would then move up. Actually, I'm sorry. We would move up to here to $52, $53. We would take a breather, and I don't know, I have it measured out the exact same as it was. 6 months from January, the same exact date as it did last January. We would take a breather until June and consolidate in a mini pennant with this structure and these fractal shapes inside of it until we would make the next leg up. Then the next leg up would be right here to 109, and then this would be the next descending wedge. But you can see what I'm saying, like, in how, again, it would blow me completely off my chair if this ended up happening, because that would just show how, and that's why I want this documented as well, that would show how absolutely just precise and repetitive, like to the day of the moves, to the levels of the moves. So that's why I'm putting this on here. And I'm sorry you had to go through that to get to that. I don't think my personal, and again, I'll say it now, nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not take anything I say as such. This is just something I like to do, and I'm sharing it with you. And I thank you all for being here and supporting me. I do not feel like we will see this happen. I don't think I'll see this happen. If it does, I'm gonna want everybody to find this video. I'll clip it and we'll be sending it everywhere, showing that I called this out at this date, because this would be an exact, precise replica of the past two movements as far as price movement up, price movement down, and our time frame in which we make our movements, as well as the interior movements within these fractal shapes, and we could show it all. So anyways, that's scenario number one. Okay? Alright, I know that was a lot. Here's scenario number two. Again, scenario number two, I had to use different time frames from a volume analysis standpoint to make them comparable, because they couldn't be oranges to oranges. It had, it was different, completely different levels of volume, which, makes movements a lot different. So you have to, compress. What's compressed here is essentially equal to what was drawn out there. Okay, I think that's the best way I can say that. I'm reading here what I put in the Discord. So yeah, so here's what I see with this one, right? This is the same 7-year fractal shape and fractal pattern and beginning of fractal cycle. Okay, here's the confluence like I talked about. The only difference with this one is, well, there's a few differences, but here, when you gauge the movements that are interior of this fractal descending wedge fractal, it does not line up with the confluence of support launch pad. You see the breakdown underneath. You got the breakdown underneath, right? This support line coming from the previous pennant fractal from January to June is this blue line here. So the confluence is right here. Whereas on this one, it's right here. So with this, I basically just scaled up the fractal shape in the positioning of it to this big descending wedge fractal, and I transposed that and scaled that to this descending wedge fractal, as well as the interior moves of it and the micro moves inside of that descending wedge there. And this one here takes us down to right here's our low point, is I believe around between the $15 and $18 area is where that is. And then we would, if this plays out, you can see the movements, and then the breakout. This one's a long one because of this, how drawn out this fractal is. To get to this area of the macro descending wedge that it's in, as you can see here. So to get that here, it had to really draw this out, which obviously draws out the timeline. I believe this here, let me see if I have that chart up. Yeah. You guys aren't going to like this one. For sure. This is January 1st, 4th. Breakout is May, beginning of May area. Next leg up, like legitimate leg up, is beginning of June, which almost skips the pennant, but it actually doesn't, because I wanted to show you this. You know, the January to June pennant is right here. This is what we saw January to June. This small pennant, and granted these are macro moves for this, but there'll be more micro inside of that. But this is the January to June, and then the June run up again, just repeating itself. But this is there were two scenarios with adjusting this to the previous one that I believe, that I believe we're in. So this one here would give us some serious downside. And again, I don't say this to scare anybody, It's about, and I told everybody this in the Discord, and I say it on my Twitter all the time. If you're prepared for everything, you'll be surprised by nothing. So, what I've done is I've put levels in here, so that I can see where it's going, and I'll be live streaming tomorrow. If you want to come by, we'll talk about the levels where I put them to indicate to me that this is what we're doing. That way I know before we just end up down here. And not that that's going to change my stance or my position, but or my holding. But it's better to know, and that's how I approach everything. I prepare for all of it, and then if it happens, I'm not surprised by it. I knew it was coming. You can ask the people in the live stream. Some of the guys were in there Friday saying how these last couple weeks with me have been something they've never experienced before, because we've been red, and minus this little bounce up we got, but they knew it was coming because of my projections and the discussions that we have in there, and it didn't bother them because they knew, and it's game changing when you know what's going to happen. So those are the two scenarios. I want you to just, it's food for thought. I just want you to think about this stuff. I want you to look at it realistically. I was anticipating, when in the first video, and I can show you because I know somebody's going to be like, what the hell, you said we were... I didn't say we were going to do anything, first and foremost. And second, this is where I had our I keep saying that. Our descending wedge last time. Okay? This is just what I just showed you is another scenario if this doesn't happen. Okay? If this movement here does not occur in here, and it doesn't look like it's doing that, because as you can see, unless this is a giant W, we'll find out. And I said that on Friday. I need to see how things move a little further, because there are a few scenarios that could be playing out. And I hesitated even sharing these because I know how people in the community can be. So please don't be that person in the comments. Please don't be that person in my DMs on Twitter. Just relax. It could be one of a few things right now. We are in a semi-critical area. I've explained that as well. For honest to God, I hope from that standpoint that we end up with the confluence scenario, because that would almost guarantee our low, and it would almost guarantee in my mind that we hold up and that we don't break through that. But I want you guys I want you to think like me. That's what I want you to do. I want you to be cool, calm, collected. I want you to know what all the possibilities are, and not like, well, if it goes here, we might go up tomorrow, but if it does this, we might go down tomorrow. Like, that's every day in this market. That is a generic piss poor way to give any kind of information or to analyze anything at all. I could do that too. I don't have to go through all this detail. I mean, but I see that's where I'm different. So that's the reality of this. I want you guys to have a realistic view and an understanding of what the scenarios, and these are my scenarios. Y'all can look at this and maybe come up with something different. I don't know, and that's possible, and I'm sure it is, and that's fine. You can have your scenarios. These are mine. These are my 3 scenarios. The one I put out in the video on Monday looks like it might be compromised a little bit. Well, I'll find out tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow or the next day, we'll see what the movement is, because I'm anticipating a move back up tomorrow, I think, either way. If we drop off, then I know where we're at. So it eliminates one, it basically is what it does. So yeah, but anyways, that's it for this one, guys. I just wanted you to have an idea and give you some insight into how I see things, and through my eyes looking at these charts, I wanted you to get a grasp on that and not be, we're going to the moon. And I mean, I wish we were. And I want us to. And if we do, that'd be the best wrong I've ever been. and I'm okay with that. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't know what else I can really add that would be helpful at this point. I believe that's it. So I'm going to wrap it up. I wanted to do an update video. I'll be doing BBIG, GME, and Nokia, since those are the 4 algos I've released to the public from the YouTube channel here. I'll do them in the next coming days, so keep your eye out for those. And yeah, live stream tomorrow at 9 a.m. And yeah, I gave you the info for the Discord. I'll try to get the link attached in the description. So once again, thank you guys. Hit the like, hit subscribe, go follow me on Twitter. All that interaction is going to help me grow this channel. I believe I have something of value to offer to the community, of great value, to be honest. And I'm a little biased in that opinion, but judging by the majority of the comments and feedback and reaction that I've gotten so far, I think you guys feel the same way, and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. You have confirmed a lot of things for me, so from my heart, thank you. And hopefully I see you guys either in the Discord or in the live stream, or both. Alright, have a good night, get some sleep, and I will see you all next time. Thanks, guys. Later.